1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... If you want to sound a little bit pro when it comes to bluegrass playing and you want to add a few interesting licks to some of your basic major chords, in this case G, C and D, then look no further, because we're going to be diving into some classic bluegrass runs that use those 3 chords, and not only will they improve your guitar playing, but they'll also impress your friends and family at parties. Now we've got 3 little techniques that we're going to be using. We're going to be using just standard picking, like that, you know, when you pick individual notes. We've also got pick strumming, pick strumming, pick strumming, pick strumming. And one of my favourite things in the world is hammer-ons. Let's look at the G major chord, and this bluegrass run is played over 2 bars. And it's the first bar that has the hammer-on technique that really spices up this chord. And let's break it up. So we're going to look at the first bar first, obviously, and we're going to split that first bar up into little chunks to make this easier for you to learn. Now, the first bar, 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. But beat number 1 is just a pick. So if you've got the G chord on, we're picking this low E string and we're picking at the 3rd fret. And this is a G note. And it just goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the first beat. But now beats 2 and 3 is where it gets a little bit interesting, because now we have the hammer on. So we're going to release this part here of the chord, and we're going to pick the open A string, which is this one here. It's the 5th string. We're going to pick it, and now here comes the hammer on. 1st fret, 2nd fret. Didn't sound very good, that did it? Let's try that again. It's a little bit better. And so a hammer-on is when you play 1 note and then do just that there. And you're hammering on your 1st finger onto the 1st fret of the same string, hammering on the 2nd finger, the same fret, same string at the 2nd fret. So A, 1st fret, 2nd fret. A, 1st fret, 2nd fret. And what we have is G, A sharp, B. It's what we call a chromatic run. And now what I would really recommend, and I think it's a really good idea, now that you've got this part, I really do think it's a great idea if you just stop the video now and just practice that over and over. So just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just go around it over and over again. And that will really help develop the muscle memory that's needed to play things like this, to make it easier so that you're not just looking at what you're doing over and over again. So what comes next is on the and 4 and. We've got open D and now 2nd fret of the D string. This is beat 4 and that's an E note, and for beat 4 and just release and play the open D string. So it's and 4 and 4 and 4 and. Now putting the whole thing together, because that's the end of the first bar, putting the whole thing together, we've got this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again, stop what you do, stop the video, don't stop what you're doing, stop the video and just go over this for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Really put a lot of effort into it because it's really worth it. And just a word on the kind of the picking. So I'm picking down, down, and then down, up, down, 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 up, down. That's how I'm doing this. Now, the second bar of this G chord is where we do the pick strumming part. And so what we're going to be picking is, if you've got the G chord down, we're going to pick the open G string. This is the third string here. So pick, this is beat 1, 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. Now for beat 3, we're going to pick the open D string, fourth string, 3, 4 and 3, 4 and. So what we have is 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. So that's the second bar. And so the whole thing together sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Magic. Now I think that's a really good little thing to play. You know, for example, if you've got a song that you're playing or you're learning and it starts off with G and it's got quite a long held G chord, then instead of just, you know, doing this for 5, 10 bars, however many bars, you could just add the run every now and then. Do a bit more strumming and then another time. I think it's a really good thing about a lick like this. Now let's look at the C major chord with this Bluegrass Run, and there are some similarities between this and the G major run. And if we start off, put the C chord on. So there's our C chord, and we're going to be picking this note first for the first beat. So pick, there's your pick, and that's beat number 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we have the hammer on for beats 2 and 3. So we're going to take away the fingers here, and we're going to be hammering on the D string, the 4th string. So we're playing open D, 1st fret, 2nd fret. So open D, 1st fret, 2nd fret. So what we have, putting those two bits together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Down pick, down pick. So down pick, down pick. And then with the hammer-ons after. Now for beats and for and, this is going to be on the G string, the 3rd string here, and it's an open string, we're not doing anything else to it. And all we're doing is, like with the G major chord where we played the D string open, then we went D, E, D, we're going to do the same with the G. G, A, G, A, G. Those are the notes that we're playing. And, for, and, for, and picking wise, down, up, down, down, up, down. So that bar looks like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and we still have the picking pattern, down, down, second bar, you've got the C chord down, because what you're going to do is you're going to be picking this B string here, and with your first finger on the first fret of that, what that note is, no, there is a C note. So we're going to be picking C, first beat, 2 and, C, 2 and, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and. Now for beat 3, we're going to do a little extra hammer on. We're going to hammer on, we're going to open the D and then hammer on at the second fret. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So slightly different, but just adding a little bit more interest to this bluegrass run. Altogether, the C chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you can do that with the C major chord, and like with the G, if you've got a song that starts with C or has long parts of the C major chord held, then do that run. Now let's put those two chords together, and we'll play the chord progression that you see on the screen. So 2 bars of G, that's the run. We'll do another 2 bars of G and do the run again, and then we'll change to C and repeat that. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The D major chord using this bluegrass run is a little bit different. So we'll pick the first beat of the bar with the D string. This is the open 4th string, the open D string here. So that's 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now for beats 2 and 3 and, this is where it gets a little bit different, because what we're doing is we're now going to play with our first finger the 2nd fret of the D string, and that's going to be beat 2. And from there we'll do the 2 consecutive hammer-ons. So we'll go 2 and 3 and. So this time we're hammering on with the 2nd and 3rd fingers, whereas with the C and the G chord we hammered on with the 1st and 2nd fingers. Now we are hammering on with fingers 2 and 3. So first finger, pick, hammer on, hammer on. So we have D, 1, 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and. So again, stop the recording, practice this a few times, then come back. Now for the final part of the bar, we're going to be picking the 2nd fret of the G string, and that's just where you have your first finger when you play a D major chord. So we're playing that, and then 4th fret with your 3rd finger of the same string, which is the G string, the third string, and then back again. And you can put the chord on while you do that. So we're going and you have the same picking, down, 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 up, down. Down, down, up, oops, down, 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 up, down. Down, 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 up, down. So that's the first bar. Now for the second bar, where we do the pick strumming, we're going to hold that chord down, that D major chord down, and we're going to pick this string here. This is the B string, and with that third finger there, that note is actually a D. So we're playing D for the first beat, and then 2 and. So pick, strum. So 1, then 2, when, 1, then 2, when. For beat 3, you're going to pick this G string here, and the note that you're playing, the note that you're picking, is an A. So where your finger is, that's an A. So pick, strum. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. So for that final bar, you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's try putting that together, those two bars of the D major chord. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So 3 chords, G, C and D, 3 really basic major chords that all beginner guitarists learn, but with a little bluegrass run that really spices those chords up. So let's put those 3 chords to work. We're going to put them into the chord progression that you heard at the beginning of the tutorial. So it's G, C, D with a little D, G at the end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you know, even slowly, I think it still sounds beautiful, sounds brilliant. And as you practice and practice and practice and put in the time for this, you'll build up your muscle memory and you'll start playing it faster and it'll sound really flash. For more tutorials like this for beginners, then click this link right here. And thank you so much for joining me today. Happy hammering on.